Hello, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a feeling I think we've all had, the feeling of having a mind that's just too full. We'll explore what this mental clutter is and how a tool like AI can help you clear it out. But we'll also look at how it can sometimes make things even more stressful if we're not careful.
So, let me just start with a question for you. Does your brain ever feel, just too full? Like you're trying to juggle a dozen different thoughts and worries and to-do items all at the same time? Well, that feeling has a name, and that's what we're going to unpack today. We call this feeling mental clutter. Think of it as all the unfinished business that's floating around in your head, all the tasks, the worries, the things you have to remember. It's everything you're trying to keep track of without writing it down.
And I bet this sounds pretty familiar, right? It's that little voice in your head that says, I still have to turn in that assignment, or, oh, did I ever text that person back? It's trying to remember you have a test on Friday, but also practice and also work. When all of that is swirling around, it's really hard to focus on any one thing because every thought feels urgent.
Okay, on your workbook page, you'll see the first question. I want you to pause here and just take a moment to define mental clutter in your own words. Go ahead and do that now.
So, this is where a tool like AI can be really useful. It's especially good at three things that help with mental clutter. First, making lists. You could just type out a messy paragraph of everything on your mind, and an AI can turn it into a neat, organized list. Second, summaries. You could paste in a long email from a teacher and ask it to pull out just the key tasks. And third, checklists. It can take that list of tasks and turn it into a simple step-by-step checklist.
Go ahead and find the next section on your page. You can pause the video now and fill in some of your own examples for how you might use lists, summaries, and checklists.
Okay, so AI sounds pretty great for this, right? Well, there's a catch, and it's a really important one. We have to be careful about creating what I call a fake plan. Here's how it can happen. Let's say you ask an AI to make you the perfect weekly schedule. It looks amazing. Everything is neat and perfectly timed. But then, real life happens. Your practice gets moved, you get an extra shift at work, or a teacher adds a new assignment. Suddenly, that perfect plan on the screen doesn't match your real week at all. And the result of that is you stop trusting your plan. It doesn't feel real anymore, so you start to ignore it. And pretty soon, you feel even more behind and more stressed out than when you started. A fake plan is worse than no plan at all. On your page, take a moment to answer the question about this very risk, the risk of letting an AI organize your life if you don't keep it updated. You can just pause here to do that.
So, if that's the risk, what's the solution? Well, it brings us to a really powerful strategy called externalizing load. Now, that might sound a little technical, but it's actually incredibly simple. It just means getting all those tasks and reminders out of your head and into an external system, like a piece of paper, a planner, or a digital list. And here's why this is so important. Your brain is amazing at thinking, learning, and solving problems. But you know what? It's not a great filing cabinet. It's not designed to be a storage unit for your entire to-do list. When you write things down, you free up all that mental energy so your brain can do what it does best. Focus on the task right in front of you. So take a moment now to pause the video and complete the lines on your page. Externalizing load means, and it matters for my stress level because.
Okay, now even when we have a good system, it's easy to fall into some traps. That's why it's so important to recognize the red flags, the warning signs that tell you your planning tool is actually hurting more than it's helping.
For instance, a huge red flag is spending more time planning than actually doing the work. Another one is creating new, perfect systems all the time, but never actually sticking with one. Or maybe you copy a checklist from an AI without really thinking, do I actually have the time and energy for this? But maybe the biggest red flag of all is this. If you feel more overwhelmed after you've planned, something is definitely not working.
So look for the red flag question on your page. Pause here and write down one that feels real for you. Just being aware of it is a great first step. All right, let's move on to how we can actually apply this. We're going to build something I call a mini clutter clear. It's a very simple process to get organized, even before you bring in any technology. There are just 3 steps. First, choose only one area that feels cluttered. Maybe it's missing work, or maybe it's studying for a test. Just pick one. Second, write down a simple list of everything related to that one area.
Get it all out of your head. And the third, turn that messy list into a simple checklist with just 3 to 6 actionable steps.
Go ahead and pause the video now to complete the Apply It section in your workbook. And when you're done, put a star next to the very first, smallest step you're going to take. That's how you get started.
Okay, for our last piece, let's do a quick reflection. This is all about creating your own personal rule for using a tool like AI effectively.
My rule is, when I use AI, this is about making sure the tool works for you. For example, your rule might be, I will always check to make sure the plan is realistic. Or maybe, I will only use it to get my ideas out, then I'll make the checklist myself.
Take a moment to pause the video and write your own rule in a reflection box. This is how you stay in control of the tool, instead of letting it control you.
All right, let's do a quick recap. We learned that mental clutter is all the stuff you're holding in your head. The best way to lower that stress is to externalize the load, get it out and onto a system. AI can be a great tool for making lists and checklists, but you have to keep them realistic. And finally, setting your own personal rule is the key to making sure AI helps you instead of adding to the clutter.
Okay, go ahead and finish up the lesson 4.4 page in your workbook. You've done great work. With that, you've completed all of Unit 4.